What is going on, guys? JD from New York here. And if I look tired, it's because I fucking am, man. I'm exhausted. But the show must go on. Because this is part number 4 of number 120 of the number 1 fucking podcast in your subscription boxes right here on YouTube.com. Off the script. Thank you guys so much for joining me on Monday, June 6th, 2016, special edition. Did not plan to do Off the Script on Monday, but my Twitter was blowing up, and I had just recorded Off the Script for Sunday, and of course, news breaks about Brock Lesnar, and I have to do a part 4 because everybody wants my goddamn fucking opinion on it. So here I am, plus I got other important information to go over with you as well. I got news on Bray Wyatt and his return. I got news on Randy Orton and his return. I got news on a potential AJ Styles versus Seth Rollins match that supposedly we will be seeing very, very, very soon. So all that plus so much more coming up right here on part 4 of episode 120 Off the Script, man. Work has been killing me, and I did not have an opportunity to finish the iTunes podcast. So I'm going to let last week go, and we'll get the podcast up before TakeOver. I'm off on Tuesday. It'll be up on Tuesday. We'll do a TakeOver preview and predictions, not only on iTunes, but we're going to be doing one as well right here on YouTube.com for Tuesday. I got a ton of shit planned, okay? I know you guys are wanting the WWE social media comments. I'll try and get to work on that. I also have an idea for a video as far as 2K17 goes. I want to try and get you guys in the mood for that. And I got a video coming up. Top 10 NXT guys that were not in 2K16 that I would like to see in 2K17. Speaking of 2K, Luigi, Big Red New York, and It's My Yard. We all competed in a Fatal 4-Way Hell in a Cell. If you missed that video, link is down below in the description. I would appreciate if you guys go over to their channels and subscribe and follow them all over social media and YouTube. And I would appreciate if you guys go and like the video as well, man. It was a fantastic video. You guys responded to it very well. We got some more coming up as well for Money in the Bank with all 4 of us. So look forward to that sometime later this week as we get closer to Money in the Bank. I don't know if Money in the Bank is this week or next week, man. I'm so fucking lost with everything, man. You know, work is absolutely fucking slaughtering me right now, so my mind is all over the place, and I'm trying to get the channel right, and I'm trying to do things for you guys and get everything done in a timely fashion for you, of course. But if you missed anything Off the Script related, everything is linked down below in the description, as well as every other video I did this previous week, man. So go check that out. Everything is there. If you missed anything from the Call of Duty stuff to the WWE stuff to Off the Script, everything is linked down below in the description. Twitter and YouTube, man. JD from NY206. Subscribe and follow. You will not regret it, man, because this is the #1 source for WWE content right here on YouTube.com. WrestleCrate.com, as always, 10% off using the coupon code JDSentMe. 10% off your first purchase. Make sure you guys go and check that out. Great fucking product if you guys want it for yourself or if you want it for a gift for somebody. Absolutely unbelievable, man. So much value in that Ultimate Crate. I would urge you guys to go and check that out if you are a pro wrestling enthusiast. And as always, Barbershop Window, the official partner now of Off the Script. We have our own online shop. Moved over from ProWrestlingTees.com. We are now on BarbershopWindow.com. All you got to do is go to the drop-down tab and see the official partners, and you'll see Off the Script right there. Get your merchandise. Roman Reigns, Get Off My TV. You got The Big Show, Get Off My TV. You got Goon City, the official Off the Script gray t-shirt. All up there, man. $19.99, all shapes and sizes. They ship internationally and obviously everywhere within the United States. It's BarbershopWindow.com. Link is down below if you guys want your t-shirts. And finally, Patreon.com. If you guys want to pledge to the cause, man, pledge to the channel and what I do on here, obviously you guys can do that whenever you feel like it. Patreon.com/JD from NY206. I am still waiting on word from Patreon about what is going on with the funds for last month. They still have not released them to me. And at that point, I will start getting everything ready as far as t-shirts goes and wrestling nicknames and all that stuff. I got everything planned for you guys, so do not worry on that front. I got you all covered, okay? Now, Before I read anything regarding Brock Lesnar, which is the absolute latest up-to-the-date information on Brock Lesnar, UFC 200, I immediately knew what was going on before I even read a fucking single article about this story, which is the biggest story probably of 2016, okay? There's a lot of things that go into this, and a lot of things now that didn't make sense beforehand, but now make sense, okay? Number one being the Dean Ambrose match at WrestleMania. Now we know why the match was a complete fucking piece of shit. I'll get into that in a second. Everyone's asking me, JD, what do you think of Brock Lesnar going to the UFC for UFC 200? What do you think about him getting back in the octagon and doing this one-time thing for Dana White at what is going to be their biggest pay-per-view of all time? Clearly, this is the best business move either UFC and WWE could make. Down the line, this is absolutely phenomenal for both sides. It's great for Dana White, and it's great for Vince McMahon. Now, Brock Lesnar can do whatever he wants, man. He's Brock Lesnar. There is only Brock Lesnar. There is only one Brock Lesnar. There will always, ever be one Brock Lesnar. There will never be another man to duplicate what this guy has done. Nobody. There's only one Brock Lesnar. The guy's a fucking animal. He's a fucking collegiate athlete. He's a UFC champion. He's a WWE champion. He's just done it all, man. This guy is a freak of nature, one of the most talented human beings in the world of professional sports. You have him on your payroll. Vince McMahon does, okay? The one thing you do not want to do is make Brock Lesnar unhappy. Why don't you want to make Brock Lesnar unhappy? Because he is a super athlete. There's only one Brock Lesnar, like I just mentioned, okay? Nobody will ever come along and duplicate what this man has done. He adds so much depth to that WWE roster. He has done everything you have asked him to do. He goes out there and does it to the best of his ability. Now, I understand there'll be some fucking goon in the comment section. Oh, but JD, all he does is suplexes, man. Yeah, I understand that. They're building off a marketing campaign with Suplex City. That's what he does. Brock Lesnar is not delegated to only doing suplexes every fucking thing that he does in a match. That's not what Brock Lesnar is. That was a phase, and hopefully by the time he comes back, Vince McMahon will see that, and that phase will be be phased out. We don't want to see Brock Lesnar do fucking German suplexes every fucking move, every single match. It's beneath him. He's not worth that, man. He's worth so much more than just going in there and delivering 20 German suplexes and then fucking pinning the guy 1, 2, 3. Brock Lesnar can wrestle. He can get in there, get his hands dirty. He can downright fight. Okay? This guy knows what to do. He's not all about German suplexes. So I understand that, and you guys have not been pleased with his latest performances. Neither have I. But this is Brock Lesnar. It does not take away from what he is truly worth, not only to the WWE, but sports in general. Okay? You do not want to make him unhappy. You do not want to make him unhappy whatsoever. Because Vince McMahon, in a time, where WWE really isn't generating interest all that much, they're not generating buzz, they're not generating ratings, Brock Lesnar has always been that one guy that he appears on Monday Night Raw, there's always a buzz around the product, there's always eyes on Monday Night Raw, there's always WWE or Monday Night Raw on the lips and the tongue of everybody that speaks about the product when Brock Lesnar is there. He does generate interest, and he does make the company money. He's a money-making machine. And that's why he's making the money that he's making, because he is Brock Lesnar. The man is a fucking unbelievable entity in the world of sports. Vince McMahon was lucky that he has the opportunity to have him on his payroll again, okay, for a second go-around. Now, his contract is up in 2017. Whether he resigns with them or not, I don't know. But if Vince McMahon does want Brock Lesnar and does want Paul Heyman on their roster, on their programming, on a monthly basis, okay, it would be in their best interest to keep this man happy by any means necessary. Now, I don't know where this UFC deal had come into play. I don't know if this was in his contract already. I don't know if his contract was renegotiated. I don't know, but what this does is it's going to make Brock Lesnar more money. Why would you ever stare Brock Lesnar in the face and tell him, Brock, I am not allowing you to do this? You would ultimately be denying a man at making more money for himself, a talented human being like Brock Lesnar, from going into a UFC or going to do whatever the fuck he wants. You are going to prohibit him from making more money. That is a fucking mistake. You will never, ever, ever do that to a Brock Lesnar. Nobody should. Vince McMahon obviously did the right thing here. He's a wise businessman, and he's letting Brock Lesnar do what he wants. He's allowing Brock, in a world that anything can happen, injuries can happen, you can ultimately get fucking killed in the octagon. He's allowing him to step back in there, not only to make himself more money, but in the end, Vince McMahon realizes this is not just good for Brock Lesnar, but it's good for him as well, because what this does is it gives Dana White access to WWE's biggest dog. It gives access to WWE's prized possession, the one man who's making the most money on a yearly basis in that company. The one man who is ultimately the biggest name on that roster in the entire company. Bigger than a John Cena, bigger than a Roman Reigns, bigger than a Seth Rollins. There's nobody on the WWE roster that is bigger and more important than Brock Lesnar, no matter if he is a part-timer or not. The name alone holds more credibility and more value than anything and anyone on the WWE roster. This is a fact. This is a fact. They've done everything in their power to keep Brock Lesnar happy. This is only a step in the right direction, not only for Lesnar and his happiness and him making more money, but it's a step in the right direction for Vince McMahon and the WWE. Why? Why is this a step in the right direction? Because, like I said, now Dana White has access to WWE's biggest asset. You don't think Vince McMahon sat down with Dana White? You don't think Vince McMahon talked to Dana White about a trade-off here? He is allowing Brock Lesnar back into the UFC. Everybody's been talking about, for months, for over a year now, about Ronda Rousey. People have been talking about when it did happen, when he did this fake retirement and then came out of retirement a week later. Conor McGregor. Everybody's talking about him and Triple H following him, and him following Triple H, and all WWE personalities following Conor McGregor on Twitter. You don't think that Vince McMahon, in the back of his mind, to make his product better, to give us a memorable SummerSlam or a WrestleMania 33, you don't think it was in the back of his mind that if he lets Brock Lesnar into the UFC under WWE contract and fight for Dana White, that Vince McMahon is not going to get anything in return? This opens up the door for a Ronda Rousey who hasn't been on television or pay-per-view for UFC since December. And she lost her title to Holly Holm. She has not been seen on UFC programming since December. Conor McGregor is the biggest name in that company right now, okay? He is the one generating the most interest for that product. You don't think Vince McMahon wants either of those in exchange to appear on WWE television for Brock Lesnar? All in all, this is worth it to Vince McMahon. He's allowing Brock to do what he wants to do. Brock obviously had an itch to get back into the UFC. He obviously had an itch to get back in there and prove himself after diverticulitis, okay? So he allows him to do that in exchange for a possible Ronda Rousey or Conor McGregor appearance at SummerSlam or WrestleMania 33. This is a no-brainer. This is a no-brainer for Vince McMahon. He's going to make bank on Brock Lesnar appearing for one match. And in return, he gets possibly a match out of Rousey, you know, because she probably won't be back on UFC programming until the end of the year. She's going to take a whole year hiatus after that loss to Holm. And she's going to get back in the fucking octagon, and she's going to win her title back when she does, when she's ready to come back. Conor McGregor is going against Nate Diaz again. I believe I'm not sure if it's at UFC 200. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't really keep up to date with UFC, so they are ready for a rematch. So this could be, you know, one of the two trade-offs here in allowing Brock Lesnar to get back into the UFC. It's a fucking no-brainer. It is an absolute no-brainer for Vince McMahon and Dana White. Now, granted, Dana White didn't need Brock Lesnar to sell UFC 200. He didn't need anybody from WWE to help promote UFC 200. That trailer was fucking fire, though, I'll tell you that, when Brock Lesnar appeared at the end and punched the camera. You know, UFC 200, and he's just standing there in the fucking octagon. Nobody expected that for you guys watching UFC 199. Nobody expected that at all. So when you guys were tweeting me, I'm like, what the fuck's going on right now? I had to check my Twitter. Everybody's tweeting me a fucking mile a minute. UFC, Brock Lesnar's back. Then we finally realized it's a one-off appearance. He's going to be at the pay-per-view at 200, which is going to be the biggest show that they ever put on in the fucking company's history. Dana White don't need Brock Lesnar, but Dana White wants to make the most money he can. This is a one-time event. This is only a fucking one-time affair. You only have one UFC 200, okay? Just like Vince McMahon. He's only got one, he's only got, I was going to say he only got one WrestleMania. I was going to use WrestleMania 32 as an example. In Dallas, 100,000 people. You only have one opportunity to fucking show us what the WWE truly is. And they dropped the ball on that. That's probably a terrible fucking comparison. But, you know, UFC 200, it's a one-time affair. And Dana White wants to make the most he can out of this event. Adding Brock Lesnar to that, this pay-per-view was going to blow fucking records out of the water. Can you imagine now with Brock Lesnar on the card on top of McGregor and Diaz, if I believe that match is taking place, on top of everything else that's going on that show? This is going to be the biggest pay-per-view in history. In history for Dana White. Not only for fucking UFC, but in sports, period. They're going to shatter records all over the place. But Dana White didn't need Brock Lesnar. He went out there and he negotiated like good businessmen do, and it's going to be great for both sides. Who does Brock Lesnar go up against? Frank Mir, that's always been rumored. He can go back against Alistair Overeem, who's a fucking asshole, you know, because he got caught with steroids like a fucking bitch, right? He was suspended for a little bit because he was on fucking HGH or whatever the fuck he got caught doing. That guy's a fucking coward. Overeem's a fucking bitch, right? Because when I believe he, in a post-match interview, went and talked shit about Brock Lesnar and said, you know, fuck diverticulitis. He went right for the gut. But I really can't blame him for that. But it's too soon to be talking about Brock Lesnar and an injury that could have ultimately killed the fucking guy. And you saying that you're going to get back in there and you went right for the fucking sweet spot. You were going to fucking dissect him because he just had stomach surgery. He had 18 inches of his intestine removed. That's a fucking bitch. No matter if it's a smart play or not, it's a fucking coward move. Now, granted, Brock Lesnar should have never got in the fucking octagon with Overeem. I don't know why he ever got back in the fucking octagon after having surgery. Okay? Brock Lesnar in 2016 is a lot different than Brock Lesnar of that time when he just recovered from surgery and got back in the octagon and he wanted to prove himself. He still was not ready. Okay? He always had it in the back of his mind about what had happened and the sickness and the disease that he went through. So now that he's back, this is all about proving everybody wrong. Everybody for fucking years has been saying Brock Lesnar sucks, he's one-dimensional, you know, he's not that great, he's overrated, etc., etc. This is all for the Brock Lesnar fucking haters out there. He's getting back in there because he knows what he's worth, he knows how talented he is, and he wants to show everybody exactly what he's made of and who he is and how great he can really be. And it's going to draw money. I don't even watch UFC, and I'm getting a front row watching it with whomever, watching this pay-per-view, simply because a WWE guy, Brock Lesnar, is on that show. Now, whether Punk is on that show, I don't know. That would be the fucking cherry on top of the cake. If CM Punk is debuting at UFC 200, probably not. But a man can dream and hope, right? But Lesnar, UFC, this is great for both fucking sides. And the way it seems, this is not a fucking random thing. Brock Lesnar didn't wake up a couple of days ago and say, you know what, let me call Dana, let me call Vince McMahon, and you know, let's get these two guys together. I want to get back in the octagon. No, no, no. This was a decision that was months in advance. Months in advance. Now we know what Brock Lesnar's been doing while he's not been on WWE TV. Now we understand why the WrestleMania match with Dean Ambrose was so fucking lopsided and that we did not get what we should have got with that match at WrestleMania against Dean Ambrose. It was a hardcore, no disqualification match, and it didn't deliver on anything that was promoted. Nothing. It was not hardcore. It was fucking lame. It went 11 minutes, and Dean Ambrose was ultimately squashed in front of 100,000 people. So that was then. But we didn't understand what was going on. We all thought that, Vince McMahon wanted to fuck Dean Ambrose over. Dean Ambrose was denied this and that and this and that to make the match special. Now we know why Dean Ambrose was denied, because they were protecting Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar was protecting himself, because this was planned well in advance. People knew, I'm sure Ambrose knew, I'm sure Triple H knew, Vince McMahon knew, Heyman, Lesnar, everybody that's a higher up there, that's of most importance, knew what was going on. This was a deal that was in the making for months. So that's why they protected Brock Lesnar, because he didn't want to get himself injured or bruised or anything like that when he knew he was getting back in the octagon in July for UFC 200. So now we know why that match was so piss poor. But as far as everything goes, this is absolutely a fantastic move for both sides. This opens up the door for Ronda Rousey and possibly Conor McGregor, one or the other, if not both, to appear on WWE television. Because, everybody's been talking about it, and that's the reason why Vince McMahon is allowing this to happen. You keep Brock Lesnar happy. You do not want to piss him off. When it's time for renegotiating, obviously, Vince McMahon is going to have a happy Brock Lesnar. If he goes into a company, and this speaks for anybody who is employed, if you go into a company and your boss is willing to treat you with the utmost respect because of who you are and what you bring to the table, you will be happy. He is going to be paid what he's worth. He's going to make more money now in UFC, and when it's time to renegotiate a deal, he's going to make the same amount he's making now, if not more, because he is that valuable to the WWE. And because Brock Lesnar is happy, and Dana White is happy, and Vince McMahon is happy, this is going to make Vince McMahon more money in return. It's all about the money. And this is a great move for WWE. That is my opinion on Brock Lesnar and his deal with UFC 200. So I can't wait to see it happen. We just don't know who he's fighting yet. And I'm going with one of those two guys. It's either Frank Mir or Alistair Overeem in a rematch. I believe they fought. Correct me if I'm wrong. You guys got to fill me in on the UFC thing. I don't follow UFC, but I do believe Overeem beat Brock Lesnar, and a rematch could be possible. So we'll see what happens. If I hear anything regarding Brock Lesnar in UFC, I might actually even review the fucking show because Lesnar is on it. So if you guys want to see that, you let me know, man. We'll keep you up to date on Brock Lesnar, who he's fighting. I'll break the news as soon as I hear it. Everything about Brock Lesnar and his appearance at UFC 200, I will keep you updated, not only on Off The Script, but on my channel as well, because Brock Lesnar is a WWE guy. Now, for the entire breaking news and the up-to-the-date information on Brock Lesnar, we all know Saturday morning was a huge news day for Brock Lesnar, but not in a way most wrestling fans have thought. UFC 199 took place on Saturday night. Rumor began from Ariel Helwani. I'll talk about him in a second. Writer for MMAfighting.com, he reported that the UFC was in serious talks with Brock Lesnar to fight at UFC 200, and the news came as a huge shock to everyone, even though Lesnar has expressed interest in a return to UFC before. To make the situation more intriguing, Dana White denied the rumor later on in the night. Near the end of the pay-per-view, White was only preserving the truth as Lesnar was announced for UFC 200. For those that were skeptical, even the WWE sent out a press release via their website. And I quote, Brock Lesnar remains under WWE contract. However, he's been granted a one-off opportunity to compete at UFC 200. Following this milestone event on July 9th, Brock will return to WWE for SummerSlam on Sunday, August 21st, live on the WWE Network. That answered the many questions about Lesnar's involvement with the WWE at this time. He has worked the big pay-per-views for several years in a row, along with a couple of bonus shows mixed in between. Lesnar showed up on ESPN, where he announced that he will be staying with WWE. His contract was set for 3 years, according to certain reports. If Lesnar were to have breached, if Lesnar were to have breached the deal and left WWE for UFC entirely, multiple lawyers would have gotten involved on WWE's side. However, Front Row Brian on Twitter reported that this UFC 200 fight was in his WWE contract. Helwani, who originally broke the news, wasn't well respected by the UFC. He tweeted later on Saturday evening that he was escorted out of UFC 199. Ariel Helwani tweeted, "I was escorted out of the building by Zuffa staff before the main event. Credential taken away too. Didn't see Bisping realize his dream." He also tweeted, "I love this sport and this job with all my heart. Did nothing unethical. I reported fight news. That's it. And then I was told that I was banned for life." That's pretty shitty. And that's taking it way too far, you know, with somebody who's been fucking dedicated and passionate about delivering your product in the most respectable fucking manner. Fuck that. Because he broke the news before people seen that hype trailer. Give me a fucking break. He's doing it out of the goodness and the passion in his heart for your product, man. Fuck that. The way Ariel Helwani was treated, that is a fucking shame. This will clarify any skeptics who don't believe Brock Lesnar is fighting at UFC 200. His opponent is yet to be determined, but what about his SummerSlam opponent? UFC 200 is in July, so Lesnar will have about a month and a half in between that and SummerSlam. The way WWE is booking matches in 2016, they will only promote his match 2 or 3 weeks prior to the event and claim it's just enough time. He probably won't be fighting for a championship, as the rumor is Seth Rollins vs. Roman Reigns for the strap will take place at SummerSlam in a return grudge match. Anything can change, but Lesnar's involvement in UFC presumably changes plans for Lesnar in the WWE. Even though Lesnar didn't breach his contract, was he supposed to wrestle before SummerSlam? In the press release that WWE sent, they only said that he's confirmed for SummerSlam. That doesn't mean he's supposed to appear earlier. Now, he'll be 100% focused on UFC return rather than plan for any WWE appearance. That is the latest, the very latest on Brock Lesnar, and I gave you my opinion on that. Let me know what you guys are thinking. That is the only logical idea that I have as far as Brock Lesnar appearing at UFC 200. As soon as I seen the news on my Twitter feed come at me a mile a minute, I knew exactly what was going on. I knew he's under contract with WWE. I knew this was a one-off, and I knew that Vince McMahon okayed this to ultimately get what he wants, and that's either McGregor or Ronda Rousey in a big-time pay-per-view or match for the WWE. That is it. You make Lesnar happy, you use him as leverage to make more money, everybody's fucking happy. So there you go, all right? And this being the biggest pay-per-view, UFC 200, that the company's ever going to put on, Lesnar is going to make fucking bank on this pay-per-view. That's all that matters to him. And you know that because he's outwardly said that all that matters to him is making a paycheck, doing a good job, and going the fuck home. He doesn't give a shit about politics. He doesn't give a shit about making friends. He doesn't give a shit about anything, man. Pay him for his services. Pay him what he's worth. Let him go in there, do what he's got to do. And he goes home to his farm and his kids and his wife. That's all he wants to do. That is respectable. You cannot have any complaints towards the way Brock Lesnar's mentality is, because that's exactly the way every fucking American working man thinks. There's only a few people in this world that enjoy what they do, man. You know, no matter how much money you make, it's very difficult to find, you know, something that you enjoy doing for a job and say, you know what, I don't even consider this a job. Lesnar, you got to respect that aspect of it too, man. He knows what he's worth. He knows his value, the name itself, Brock Lesnar, and what that means to anybody that has him on their payroll. He goes, he comes, and he goes home. That's all. You got to respect that, and there's nothing wrong with Brock Lesnar admitting that. Bray Wyatt coming for the WWE Championship. Really? The return of the Eater of Worlds and the Wyatt family is coming soon. Bray Wyatt is due back any week now, and his return has been rumored to come as early as Monday on Raw. There have been some questions about who or what Bray Wyatt and his monsters will target, which is what makes their appearance and their characters interesting. For anyone else, being off WWE television would be a bad thing, and their return would have to be specific. For the Wyatts, it's not a good thing that they're off TV, but there is a unique element of unpredictability that means they could strike at any time and take anyone out. That's a rare thing the stable has tapped into as far as characters go. And there have been some rumors about them getting involved with the Money in the Bank ladder match. But according to the Wyatt's social media activity, he's teasing something more specific for his return to the WWE. And I quote from Bray Wyatt's official Twitter, "There is a house in New Orleans they call the compound. It's been the ruin of many a poor boy. And God, I know I'm one." At this moment, it's only a possibility. However, Bray hasn't targeted the WWE Championship yet during his WWE career. His history with Roman Reigns speaks for itself, so we'll see if Wyatt targets Reigns, Rollins, or the WWE Championship. Or he could fucking target all three. Who the fuck cares, man? Get Bray Wyatt in a monster rollback on WWE television. Catapulting him for a WWE Championship run is not the worst idea that we've heard this year. I think he's worth it. I think he deserves it. And anything to build credibility back to Bray Wyatt, because people have been saying for years, this guy has been underutilized. He's not being used correctly. Giving him the WWE Championship and making him a serious, unbeatable fucking character on television is what WWE's mindset should be. Bray Wyatt for WWE Champion, I would not be opposed. And I would not be opposed if they do add a 7th spot for the Money in the Bank, and it does end up being Bray Wyatt. Like I said, it would add more intrigue and more unpredictability, being that Bray Wyatt is in there with everybody else that's in that match already. Because right now, like I said, I'm going with Kevin Owens. If Bray Wyatt is in there, it opens up the door for so much unpredictability. Wyatt, you got Owens. That'll be a great fucking battle, man. I would love to see that happen. Make it happen, WWE. Seth Rollins versus AJ Styles, coming very, very soon, according to the man himself. One of the most interesting things about Seth Rollins' return to WWE program is how much he has changed in 6 months, or how much has changed in 6 months. He's changed as well. He looks fucking fantastic. And since he's been out with his knee injury, he's being booed as a heel currently, but he could be booked as a face as well. No matter what, there are fresh and interesting feuds for Rollins, even if he leaves the feud with Roman Reigns empty-handed without the WWE Championship. According to a report from RingsideNews.com, Rollins attended a Q&A during Philadelphia's Wizard World Convention and was questioned about a potential match with AJ Styles. The essence of what Rollins said is that he'd much rather compete with him one-on-one and feud with him rather than tag with him. He also revealed that he thinks we'll be seeing some of those matches very soon. Obviously, Rollins is locked in a feud with Reigns right now in his quest for the WWE Championship. Styles just turned heel and entered a feud with John Cena. Both men are also heels right now, so their dynamic would be interesting. There's no way to know what Rollins meant by very soon, but we can definitely expect to see Rollins versus Styles in a WWE ring. We don't know when it's happening, but I wouldn't take these Wizard World Convention Q&As or these Q&As at these conventions very seriously. It's merely them breaking face and going off the script, no pun intended, and kind of revealing how they really feel and what they really want. Obviously, Rollins is one of the best in-ring talents in the entire fucking company. He wants to put that on showcase. What better way to do that than going against probably the best wrestler in the fucking world in AJ Styles? You know Rollins wants that match. You know he wants it on a big stage. You know he wants that competitive fucking nature. And if you've seen the Seth Rollins documentary like I did on the WWE Network, you know that Seth Rollins and AJ Styles, well before Seth Rollins hit the big time, brought Styles to a great, great wrestling match. Styles put over Rollins, and they go back a very long way. It would be fucking fantastic if they now, after all that time, on pay-per-view, on Raw, wherever it happens on the grand stage, that they meet face-to-face after everything that they've been through and all the history that these guys have. That would be fucking great. But take these things with a grain of salt. Not too much to look into here. Obviously, like I said, he's going off the script here, and this is something that he wants. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to happen, but I figured it would be fun to report about. Anyway, Rollins, Styles, nothing in the news about it actually happening right now at this current point in time, but it definitely is something WWE will explore when the time is right, okay? And finally, actually I got 2 more stories. Never mind, I got 2 more stories. I'm going to end it with this one, but I got 2 more stories. Randy Orton, returning sooner rather than later. We know that he's going to be due back any month now, any week now, actually. It may be too late for him to return at Money in the Bank and Battleground. That isn't even a lock, but he'll definitely be back for SummerSlam. And WWE has changed so much since he was last inside a ring. handing out RKOs out of nowhere. So there are fresh matchups and fresh opportunities for feuds. But if Carl Anderson has anything to say about it, the club will be first in line to step up to the plate and devenomize the fucking Viper. According to a recent report from Amarillo.com, Carl Anderson and the club revealed that his dream opponent is the Viper. Randy Orton is looking to make that a reality sooner rather than later. Anderson was asked, how is the transition into the WWE? And I quote, "It's been unreal. This is where we wanted to be able to come in and make an impact like we have in the WWE with two of my best friends, AJ Styles and Luke Gallows. And working together like this has been cool. To do things with John Cena when we work with Roman Reigns has been surreal. It's something we knew we could do, and it's been amazing." He was also asked, do you have a dream match in WWE? Being in the WWE is a dream itself. This is all politically correct answers right here from Carl Anderson. Can't blame him. He's got to look good for the company. Being in a ring in the WWE is a dream itself. Being in the ring with John Cena on Monday was something crazy. I love to get in the ring with Randy Orton. Roman was cool to be in the ring with. Dolph Ziggler would be really sweet. But I think Randy Orton right now would be pretty cool for me. He's somebody I look up to. We're about the same age, and he's been on TV for a long time, so it'd be pretty cool to get in the ring with Randy Orton. I would not be surprised if the club eventually goes and cuts down Randy Orton, and I would absolutely love to see Randy Orton versus AJ Styles, man. I think those two can put on a series of phenomenal fucking matches, and I'm sure WWE, again, just like Rollins, is going to explore that with Randy Orton upon his return sometime before the end of 2016. And finally, guys, we talked about the draft. We went over it in depth. We talked about Roman Reigns being the face of Raw and John Cena being the face of SmackDown. But have WWE officials decided to draft Roman Reigns to SmackDown now instead of Raw and keep Cena on Raw? According to a recent rumor, WWE officials are looking to split up Roman Reigns and John Cena so each superstar can become the face of a brand. After the brand split, the belief was that Roman Reigns would be the top face and Seth Rollins would be the top heel on Raw, while Cena and AJ Styles would fill the same spots on SmackDown. However, that might not be the case anymore. It's not clear if WWE officials have changed their minds or if there is anything more than a rumor. But a report from RingsideNews.com has shown that Roman Reigns could be headed to SmackDown instead of Raw. Nothing has been announced yet for the brand split, so everything is still up in the air. However, the first show of SmackDown has been advertising Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, and others for the first show. Last week, WWE announced that for the first time ever, SmackDown will air live and move to Tuesdays every week beginning July 19th. Be there on Tuesday, July 26th, as SmackDown airs live from Niagara Center in its second live broadcast of the new era. Here's your chance to see favorite WWE superstars live and in action. See WWE World Heavyweight Champion Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose, AJ Styles, Kevin Owens, and Women's Champion Charlotte, The New Day, and many more. That's all it says, and that's where the report ends. If Roman Reigns, I'll tell you this is my only opinion on this story, okay? Whoever is the WWE Champion should be on Raw. I don't give a shit who it is. If you're the WWE Champion, you need to be on Raw. And I don't see Roman Reigns losing the WWE Championship before this brand split, before this draft. So the best thing to do is keep Roman Reigns as the WWE Champion on Raw. Now, if you want to take him off Raw and feature SmackDown on, and feature Roman Reigns on SmackDown with the WWE Championship, in my vision, in my mind, that's going to make SmackDown the more important show because the world champion of the company is going to be on SmackDown. So by default, that makes SmackDown the must-see programming of the two. Now, the only reason why they would flip-flop John Cena and Roman Reigns is because they believe in John Cena more to impact the ratings more so than Roman Reigns. That's the only reason why they would make this change. Other than that, I don't think the WWE Champion needs to go anywhere but Monday Night Raw. If you are the WWE Champion, you need to be on the #1 show in the company, and that #1 show, no matter how fucking terrible it is every single week, no matter how boring it is, no matter how much we complain about it, the #1 show always will be Monday Night Raw. And if you are the WWE Champion, you need to be featured there. No questions asked. That's my thought on that. And that's part 4 of Off the Script, guys. Thank you so much. It's been a big weekend as far as wrestling news goes. I'm going to have an even bigger week this week, man. We got NXT TakeOver on Wednesday. Look forward to that. We're going to do preview and predictions on Tuesday, our review on Wednesday, out of nowhere on Wednesday. I'm going to get you guys ready for Money in the Bank. We got Money in the Bank simulations coming up. We got more stuff with Luigi. It's My Yard in Big Red, New York as far as 2K16 content goes. Off the Script, podcasts, Call of Duty news. I got some new videos coming out for you. I got some new concepts. Gonna be great, man. It's gonna be a very, very, very busy week for JD. So I hope you guys enjoy everything I'm gonna bring to your channel, man. Bring to this channel, I should say. We are on the road to 52,000 subscribers. If we have not met that already, we'll be on the road to 53,000 subscribers, man. Thank you guys for the growth. Thank you for your patronage for Patreon.com. Thank you for continuing to support with the website, Barbershop Window, and get your t-shirts, man. Thank you for everything. You guys are unbelievable, and you are the ones who make this channel what it is. I cannot do it without you guys. Off the Script is done for this week, man. This is episode 120, part 4. I'll see you guys right back here on Friday for episode 121. Until then, this is JD. I'm going to get some much-needed sleep, and I'll see you guys right back here for Monday Night Raw review tonight after the show goes off the air. Hit that thumbs up. Follow me on Twitter. Subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys right back here for Monday Night Raw review.